Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's sugar detox. I have been waiting for this day and so excited. As I mentioned, it was after Halloween, and I'm sitting there, eating some of my favorites. It's that time of year. And I was just like, this is enough. I think I do that every year. And then I kept hearing everybody that I was running into was saying the same thing. So I was like, okay, this is the time to reset. Let's reset ourselves, become aware of the changes that we need to make. And then that way you have it in your toolbox. It's something you can always go back to, and that the skills and what you need to do, so that it's a much easier pivot next time, versus staying in a cycle all through the holidays. I mean, we have a lot coming up where those treats can be quite tempting. So let me just bring up our presentation today. I'm very excited to share some of this material with you guys, and as well as myself. So let's get going. Okay, great. Let me just share the presentation with you all. Great, there we go. All right. So, as I said, the reason why I wanted to do this, and it's really the goal of today is that I want you to be able to walk away with an understanding of sugar's impact on the body itself. So when you know, this is very important, especially for cancer survivors, but really for anybody. And I want you to walk away with some actionable steps to reduce sugar, and you'll have that improved energy, that improved focus, and overall health. It's not a surprise, or it's not a hidden secret. We see it in magazines and Time, and all on the news. Like, inflammation is a major problem for many chronic health disease. And if we can work on simple ways to be able to reduce that inflammation in our body, we're going to be in a much better place. So let's jump in here. I want to show you where we are right now. So today, we're doing a deep dive into just one small component of my overall S.H.I.N.E roadmap. So as you can see, we're under NOURISH, which is the fourth pillar. And I've created the S.H.I.N.E roadmap to help cancer survivors, like many of you, rebuild your life after trauma. It's a simple 5-step program that includes seeing the trauma, healing through the trauma, inspiration, nourishing, and evolving, where you can move forward. So today we're focusing on NOURISH, as I said, is that fourth step. In the full program, so in this full S.H.I.N.E roadmap, this is where we've already worked through a lot of the trauma, understanding different mindsets, and how to encompass those in your life, and know the importance of self-love. And NOURISH is really about how. It's the how we feed our body physically, taking care of ourselves, understanding mentally, understanding mindsets that are going to help you thrive. And then know the importance of self-love, emotionally taking care of yourself. And NOURISH is all about how we feed our body, both actually on the plate, but it also impacts our soul off the plate. And this is where, in the program, clients I work with, you'll get a very personalized plan, because everybody is bio-individual, and something that works for one person might not work for another. So, I often see these different diets that are marketed, or different, ways of eating. And, it's like it's a one plan for all, but that's not how it works. I'm sure you've seen it yourself. You're frustrated where a friend is crushing it with one diet and feeling great, and it's doing good for them, but you're just feeling stuck and it's not feeling the same for you. Well, everybody, reacts to different foods, reacts to different activities very differently. So this is where it's important to have that personalization in your plan, understanding, your blood work, your body, what's going to feel right for you. So let's dive in. And sugar is one thing that we can all agree upon, that we need less of. So I'm going to start with a little quiz here, myth busting. So all sugars are created equal. Myth or fact? Let's see. Okay, I see some answers coming in. So it is a myth. So not all sugars are created equal. There's a big difference between natural sugars. So think of natural sugars as like those found in fruits and vegetables. They're naturally occurring. And then there's refined sugars, which are the processed ones. And excuse me, the sugars that are added to foods. Natural sugars come with fiber and nutrients that actually help our body to digest them slowly. So, by digesting slowly, it provides a steady, long term source of energy without intense cravings. And then, in contrast, refined sugars are absorbed quickly. So, it goes right into your blood and it leads to blood sugar spikes and crashes that will leave you craving more. Um, it's a quick hit and then you're like, I need more. So understanding where sugar comes from empowers us to make those healthier choices, helping to reduce sugar dependence, managing your energy, and supporting long-term health. You can think about like the difference of why this matters. So the impact on blood sugar and energy levels. Natural sugars, thanks to their fiber and nutrients, they have a very stabilizing effect on blood sugar, and it avoids those energy crashes. Whereas refined sugars, like I said, are going to cause like an energy roller coaster of sorts that can lead to cravings and even overeating. Frequent consumption of refined sugars has been linked to weight gain, type 2 diabetes, and other metabolic disorders, whereas natural sugars support balanced nutrition, giving the body essential vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that you need. Diets that are high in refined sugars contribute to chronic inflammation. And as I said earlier, chronic inflammation is a major killer. It is linked to conditions like cardiovascular disease, cancer, and obesity. So choosing natural sugars as part of your balanced diet will reduce overall inflammation and it supports that long-term health. And understanding the different sugar sources is very important. So it's going to empower you to make those healthy choices. Knowing the difference between natural and refined sugars allows you to make more conscious choices about what you consume. It helps improve label reading skills. This is something that is very important. If you go in, and this is something I can work on one-on-one because this is really important. Having an awareness of the hidden sugars that exist on labels. There's so many different names for so many different things, but it can understanding those different names like high fructose corn syrup or dextrose can really help you reduce refined sugar intake. It's hidden everywhere. It's in your sauces, it's in breads. It's you'd be surprised when you start looking at sugar content how much sugar is in a lot of the food that we eat. And then by choosing natural sugars and limiting refined ones, you're going to build habits that support those lasting health benefits and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. So why are we talking about a sugar detox? After Halloween, it's very common to find ourselves reaching for sweets. It's that time of year. And not just because of leftover candy, but because sugar cravings are really, really hard to break. When we eat a lot of sugar, our brain gets used to those quick energy bursts. And it creates this cycle of highs and lows that leads you to even more cravings. But sugar intake doesn't just affect our energy, it impacts your long term health. And again, it contributes to that inflammation, insulin resistance, and even weight gain. So, reducing sugar intake can make a huge difference, especially for cancer survivors. It also helps balance your blood sugar, supports steady energy levels and mental clarity, which are essential for recovery. And making these changes brings more than just physical benefits. It empowers survivors to take control of your health, improve quality of life, and enjoy that lasting well being. These cravings happen because after Halloween, many people are craving more due to the high intake of sugar from candies and treats, and it spikes dopamine levels in your brain. And dopamine is responsible for the happy feeling, like the feel good feelings of your body. So the more sugar we consume, the more our brain craves it. And it creates this cycle of cravings and quick energy hits followed by crashes. And it really can impact your mood and your energy. It often, when you have these energy spikes and drops, it can lead to fatigue, irritability, and difficulty focusing, even. So it's really important to help stabilize and understand how this is impacting your body, so that we're more aware about the decisions that we're making for ourselves. Another myth buster. So, myth or fact, eating sugar directly causes cancer. Right? We got a couple in here. So, the answer is well, not directly. There's more to the story. So, let's dive into how cancer cells interact with sugar and why managing our sugar intake matters for cancer prevention. This is one of those myths you hear a lot. People say, oh, I'm going sugar free, or, I stay far away from it because it's going to cause cancer. Let's learn a little bit more about that so we understand the correlation between sugar and cancer. So, unlike healthy cells in the body, cancer cells need a lot of glucose to grow and multiply rapidly. They use this process that's called anaerobic glycolysis, okay, to get energy. And to get that energy, that process, it does consume a lot of sugar. But this doesn't mean that eating sugar directly causes cancer, but excess sugar intake will feed chronic inflammation, and that leads to the insulin spikes. So both inflammation and high insulin levels create an environment where cancer cells can thrive. So, how can we lower these risks? By adopting a balanced diet with nutrient dense foods like vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats. And this approach not only reduces inflammation, but it also supports our immune system in fighting off abnormal cells. Reducing processed sugars is one of the simplest and most impactful steps that we can take towards long term health and cancer prevention. And for cancer survivors, it's especially important. Lowering inflammation and balancing blood sugar contributes to better recovery, more energy, and a stronger immune response. So if we think about, cancer cells, they metabolize sugar, glucose differently compared to healthy cells. They have higher demand for glucose to fuel that rapid growth. And the way they do this with cancer cells, they use a process, as I mentioned before, even when oxygen is available, to convert glucose into energy quickly. And this process consumes a lot of sugar, but produces less energy compared to healthy cells. So while cutting sugar alone isn't a cure for cancer, understanding this process highlights why managing sugar intake is essential for cancer prevention and overall health. So I think the sugar cancer misconception, eating sugar doesn't directly cause cancer, but excessive intake feeds inflammation and insulin spikes, which create that environment where cancer cells can thrive. So it is important to definitely pay attention to that. Here you can see, how sugar is impacting the body, where it goes, what it does. So let's talk about what sugar does to some of our major organs here. First, let's look at the brain. When we eat sugar, it activates the brain's reward system and releases that feel good chemical I just mentioned, dopamine. This is why sugar can be so addictive. It makes us feel good temporarily, but it also leads to cravings that create this cycle where we need more sugar to feel the same reward. Next is our liver. When we consume more sugar than we need, our liver is taking the extra and turning it into fat. Over time, this process can strain the liver, leading to fat buildup and even conditions like fatty liver disease, which impacts our whole metabolism. And finally, our pancreas. This organ produces insulin to manage blood sugar levels. But if we're consuming too much sugar too often, the pancreas has to keep releasing insulin. And eventually, this is going to lead to insulin resistance, which impacts diabetes. So, this means the body needs more insulin to process sugar. And that is a major risk factor for developing diabetes. So sugar doesn't just affect our energy or our waistline, it impacts key organs that keep our body running smoothly. And by reducing sugar, we can support brain, liver, and pancreas, helping them function better and protecting our overall health. All right, myth or fact. Number 3, cutting out sugar entirely is necessary for good health. Myth. So let's talk about why it's important to limit processed sugars. Processed sugars are the ones that give us that quick energy burst, followed by the quick drop, leaving us tired, craving more. And unlike natural sugars in the fruits and vegetables, which come with those fiber and nutrients, processed sugars are often empty calories with little to no nutritional value. And to make healthier choices, like I mentioned before, it's really important to start with reading labels. Many processed foods hide added sugars under different names. So if you choose those whole foods like fresh fruits, veggies, lean proteins, which have naturally occurring sugars, but in much healthier forms. Cooking at home also gives you control over the ingredients that are making it into your food, and it makes it easier to avoid those hidden sugars. And finally, remember that it's all about moderation, not elimination. That's key. It's not about giving up sugar entirely at all. It's more so managing it in a way that supports your health. So you could still enjoy the treat here or there. I never believe in complete elimination unless it's something that feels good and that you can do easily and you want to do. Um, you know, you need to have some outlets. So you can just, as I said, you could still enjoy that treat here or there. Just aim to make processed sugars the exception, not the rule, right? It's a treat. So this balanced approach helps you feel better in the long run without feeling deprived. And I think that's really important, and why I don't believe in like full elimination, full cutting out everything, because when you feel deprived, you're not going to be successful long term. And that's what we need. We need to make these small changes and shifts to be able to feel better, to be able to make this a long term sustainable action that you're taking. So, just remember it's not really about having sugar, but rather reducing how much you consume on a regular basis. And it's going to help, these switches and these tweaks are going to be able to help you stabilize your energy, support metabolism, and just promote overall well-being. You're going to feel a difference. Let's look at some of the signs of sugar dependence, what this looks like. So these are some common symptoms of sugar dependence. I'm going to say a couple questions and think to yourself, like answer them or write down yes, no, what you feel. Um, do you find yourself feeling tired or drained, especially in the afternoons? I know for me, I can definitely feel like this some afternoons where I have energy going through the morning and then you're just done. You feel that crash in the afternoon. Do you get irritable or anxious if you don't eat for a while? Sometimes in our house, we call that the hangry effect, um, where you're just so you can't control your anxiousness or your irritableness until you're able to eat. Um, and maybe you notice trouble focusing or keeping mentally sharp. Perhaps you also experience some strong cravings for something sweet, especially in those late afternoon hours. And especially when you're stressed and you're low on energy, those cravings are, peeking up their head really strong. So take a moment to reflect on how many of these symptoms you experience regularly. So self awareness is the first step toward making a change. If you recognize yourself in these signs, it's probably a really good indicator that your body may be depending on sugar for more energy and for your mood. The good news is there's an effective way to break this cycle and feel more balanced throughout the entire day, as opposed to having, that quick hit in the afternoon and then feeling crashed again. So let's look at sugar's impact on the brain. Um, Myth or fact, does sugar boost mental energy and brain power? So I think from the last slide, we know this is a myth. Let's talk about how sugar impacts our mental clarity. So when we eat something sugary, again, it releases that dopamine, giving us that quick burst of energy and a temporary feel-good boost. But that boost doesn't last long. Shortly after blood sugar crashes, it leaves us feeling drained, unfocused, and often just craving more sugar to pick us back up. This cycle of high sugar highs and crashes also affects your brain's ability to stay sharp and focus. And it leads to what we all commonly know as brain fog. And over time, these swings in energy can make it harder to stay mentally clear and can even affect our mood. I've seen it before. And to avoid these crashes, try to balance your blood sugar by eating proteins, healthy fats, and fiber rich foods in each meal. By eating these nutrients, it helps slow down the release of sugar in your bloodstream and provides more constant energy for your brain. And choosing complex carbs over simple sugars also helps keep your blood sugar stable so that you can maintain better focus and clarity throughout your day. How does sugar affect cancer recovery? So, for cancer survivors, reducing sugar is important for recovery and quality of life. When we consume high amounts of sugar, it contributes to inflammation, which can make it hard for your body to heal, and it increases stress on your immune system. High sugar intake can also lead to energy crashes, leaving you feeling tired, foggy, and unmotivated. When you balance your blood sugar, you may notice improved mental clarity, more steady energy, and enhanced immune response. So, taking those steps to reduce your sugar intake is one of the most impactful changes you can make to support your body's recovery and live a fuller, more resilient, energized life. Um, for it's really a proactive way to help support your body's recovery and resilience. And when we consume sugar in high amounts, it triggers an inflammatory response in the body, and it puts you in that fight or flight kind of mode and survival mode. And for cancer survivors, this can make it recovery really hard, as chronic inflammation can strain the immune system and hinder that healing, allowing you to move forward. It, you know, the benefits of balanced blood sugar, when blood sugar is balanced, the mind is clearer. It reduces that brain fog, which is a common survivorship, side effect that a lot of folks are still dealing with. It's a very common challenge post treatment. Um, but that consistent energy is really important too. Stable blood sugar is going to support consistent energy levels, and it makes it easier for you to stay active, which is also very important, like physical activeness, maintaining positive outlooks. That's that mindset piece, and getting the most out of your daily life, as well as allowing your body to be strong and better equipped to protect against new illnesses. So, another myth or fact: only high sugar foods cause inflammation. This one, too, is a myth. So, many people think that only sugary treats cause inflammation, but it's not just about high sugar foods. Other lifestyle factors like stress, lack of sleep, they can also fuel your inflammation. Stress is a major one. Um, However, focusing on sugar now, when we consume too much sugar, especially from processed sources, it causes our blood sugar spikes, which over time lead to an inflammatory response, that fight or flight. And this chronic inflammation can impact parts of our body, like our joints, something else we feel afterwards sometimes, your skin, the health of your skin, your heart. And it increases the risk of diseases like arthritis, diabetes, and cardiovascular issues. But the good news is that we can reduce this inflammation through simple diet and lifestyle changes, choosing whole nutrient dense foods, getting regular exercise, and having the tools and the skills to be able to manage stress all help the body maintain a balanced, low inflammation state. And that's really where we want to be. You want to be in low inflammation. You don't want your body having that fight or flight always on, chronic stress, because chronic stress is going to lead to chronic inflammation, which is going to lead to chronic disease. So unlike acute inflammation, which is the body's way of healing, chronic inflammation is prolonged. It's a very damaging process that can harm healthy tissues. And, consistently eating high sugar intake can contribute to these conditions in a big way. So, taking those steps to balance your sugar intake not only benefits your energy and focus, but really plays a critical role in managing inflammation and reducing long-term health risks. Why is sugar so addictive? You eat it, it looks good. We all love a sweet treat. So when we eat something sugary, our brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical that activates our reward system. This is the same system involved in other addictive behaviors, which explains why sugar cravings can feel so strong. But remember, it's not just a matter of willpower. These cravings, they're a natural response, and it's completely normal to feel drawn to sugary food. But the important part is to recognize why it's happening and know that you're not alone in feeling this way. It's a natural response, but breaking the cycle is possible, and it doesn't require extreme measures. With these small manageable changes like reducing refined sugars and gradually replacing them with whole foods, you can begin to reset your body and break free from sugar's hold one step at a time. Myth or fact: sugar detoxes are always extreme and difficult. Well, I hope by now you all know that this is a myth from what we've talked about. So let's talk about how we can make cutting back on sugar feel manageable and even enjoyable. Yes, it can feel really good when you're aware of your body, aware of your feelings. And actually, something I do when I go through these is, whether you jot down in a journal or you take a quick video of yourself just for you, just a quick explanation of how you're feeling that day. Um, like I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling, unmotivated. Think about how different foods make you feel when you eat them right after. Like, yes, that sugar treat tasted good, but how did I feel half hour, an hour later? Really being mindful and thinking about those things are going to make you more aware. Many people think that a sugar detox does have to be extreme. Like, we cut it, we're done, cold turkey. But in reality, gradual steps are much more sustainable and just as effective. Um, so, for instance, starting with small steps like switching from sugary drinks to water or herbal teas, learning how to read food labels can make a huge difference. Pay attention to hidden sugars in ingredients like corn syrup or maltose, and choose snacks that offer real nutrition like fresh fruit, nuts, yogurts. And by making these simple swaps, you can still satisfy your cravings without relying on those added sugars. So, we have some very actionable steps for starting the sugar detox, including tips on reading labels, preparing your environment, and setting realistic goals. And the benefits that you're going to walk away with are clearer focus, steady energy, reduced cravings, and really keeping that high motivation. We look at some enjoyable alternatives, looking at things that are naturally sweet, like fruits, dark chocolate, even smoothies that help curb sugar cravings without relying on that added sugar. Added sugar is something you definitely want to stay away from. So, if you're interested in learning more and this is resonating with you, and something that you're aware of in your body, that you're feeling some of these symptoms, or you just need to know the skills of how to do the detox and walk away, how to reduce sugar intake without feeling deprived, we'll go into more detail on how to reset your sugar habits in a way that feels good and actually fits your lifestyle. So, if you are interested in learning more, reach out to me directly. My email is Amy, AMY, at sunshinetheory.com. And we could set up a call, and we'll go into more individualized detail on how to reset your sugar habits in a way that feels good and fits your lifestyle, because we want this to be sustainable for you. And it's important just to understand, like I said, each person is bio individual. So there might be some small tweaks that we make for one, that don't apply to another. So I want to make sure that you're getting this right. We have it's a one-on-one program where you're going to get some personalized coaching sessions, meal plan, shopping list, daily action plans. There's a whole bunch of support available to make sure that you get through the initial piece. Once this becomes part of your routine and something that you're aware of, it's so easy just to snap back into it. um, there's definitely some additional resources such as handouts on sugar's impacts, some recipes I can share, and any advice along the way. So I am your partner in seeing this, healthy change. It's one of the biggest ones, I think, in terms of how we can control that inflammation in our body. That and stress are the two biggest ones. So this is great for clients who want more personalized support, accountability, and really some of those coaching sessions are going to be tailored to your unique goals and your unique needs, giving you accountability, guidance to help navigate any challenges that you come up against, because they will pop up. And then, of course, the strategies and tools to manage emotional triggers. That's a big one, on why we eat sweets, cultivate that resilience, and achieve greater emotional well-being. And then you have access to a very supportive community of like-minded individuals who are on similar journeys. And that's a great way to cheer each other on and make sure that we do see all of that success. It's a big piece of it. So it's really for cancer survivors or anyone who's committed to your overall physical, emotional well being and ready to invest in your personal health and growth journey, from a preventative measure, from feeling good, from being able to reduce some medications. It's really powerful stuff. And what we would see if we're not addressing these things, right? The downsides can vary, but these are some of the top ones that I see when people are coming to me. So, delayed improvements in energy, focus, mood, and overall health without guidance and accountability provided in a coaching type setting. You may experience delays in achieving your goals and realizing your full potential, and this can prolong feelings of dissatisfaction and prevent you from living a fully you know fulfilling life, because you feel like you're just can't get it done. Dissatisfaction is going to make you unmotivated to even try. So we want to make sure you get there. Food confusion, misinformed. This is a big one. Like I said before, like I think about the sugar slide when people are like, oh, sugar causes cancer, stay away. Not necessarily, but it's important to know what foods heal you, what foods strengthen your immune system, what foods you may have an intolerance to that you're not aware of, that are making negative impacts on your body. So there's ways that we work through this to find out, again, your individualized plan, your individualized foods, and what's going to be good for you to maintain that feel good strength long term for your life. And sometimes without that guidance, you're going to feel, stuck in old patterns and unable to make progress towards your goals. It can lead to feelings of frustration, dissatisfaction. And we want to make sure that we can move through those quickly. And you're going to continue to experience some of those side effects like brain fog, energy crashes, digestive issues even. And feeling stuck in those same patterns. And every time go back to the sugar without knowing the right tools and skills to be able to manage that better, it can keep knocking down your confidence that you got this, like you can do this, and your motivation to make necessary changes. So it leaves you in a stuck cycle, and a very chronic inflammation state. And you'll have reduced ability and knowledge to leverage proven strategies. So without knowing the skills and the tools that you can always reach to, and they're always there to help you, overcoming these challenges is going to be very hard. So really investing in your personal health through coaching can really help you overcome these challenges and achieve this great success. You're going to feel fulfillment, resilience, and we want to see everybody succeed and have this, great feeling long term and taking care of your health. So again, we invite you to take the next steps towards unlocking your full potential and living a life of, food freedom, I call it, and fulfillment. And if you do enroll in the Detox program today, and embark on this transformative journey, there is an offer of $100 off for everybody who is enrolled to this masterclass. So I'll send out an email after. We have a few days where we're offering this $100 off the Detox program specifically. If there is interest in the full S.H.I.N.E program to work through the emotional and the physical pieces as well, and really hone in more on that gut brain connection in deeper detail, There is also opportunity to join the full S.H.I.N.E program. So if that's something you're interested in, please call that out in the email, or we could discuss over a call as well. And for that, I am offering $500 off to everybody enrolled in this masterclass. Be sure to follow Instagram handle at sunshine.theory, where I'll be posting updates and getting ready for our next masterclass. So I would love to hear your thoughts on what you would love to learn more about. And again, just reach out to me. I'm really excited to help and see the success of people going through this. It's mind blowing when you watch people actually, like I said, journaling, taking notes daily. When you see that change, um, from when you start to when we finish the sugar detox, and then seeing folks move into sustainable, long-term, healthy, positive mindset. It's really, really, really empowering. So I am so happy that you all joined me today. I'm going to be stopping the video just for content's sake. We'll open up to questions for everybody who is here live. And I will share some of those afterwards. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we will